Hi everyone, here I'm going to talk about 3 more reasons that you might have a downturn in your trade cycle or business cycle or economic cycle. They all mean the same thing. Why on the curve, when we come down here and we've got a slowdown, a downturn, why would this be happening? It's helpful all the way through to remember that here our real output is going down. If you remember that aggregate demand is a way of looking at what your output is in your economy. And remember, that's made up of consumption and investment and government spending and exports minus imports, or net trade. So if you've got that at the back of your mind, that's helpful for when you're looking at why you might have a downturn in your economic cycle. The first one we're going to look at is policy. This is policy that's used in the economy to make a change in what's happening in the economy, and it might backfire and actually result in a downturn. For example, it might be that you had inflation in the economy, and to deal with the inflation, they may have put the rate of interest up, monetary policy. The idea of that will be that you will dampen down demand. However, if this is done too much, then it might cause a significant decrease in consumption, more than they wanted. It might also cause a significant decrease in investment, more than they intended. And all of this together could potentially lead output to fall. You'd hope that the policy wouldn't be done to such an extent that that would happen, but it is a possibility. The next type of policy that you might have, rather than monetary policy, is fiscal policy. And the fiscal policy may well take the form of increasing taxes. And again, if taxes are increased too much, this might actually cause a decrease in consumption, a decrease in investment, so much that overall output goes down and you go into a downturn in your economic cycle. The next one is your currency value. If your currency value goes up, so the currency gets stronger, this will have an impact on your net trade, exports minus imports. If your currency is stronger, this will make your exports more expensive, and additionally your imports will be cheaper. As a result of this, your exports will go down and your imports will go up. Overall, this means that this number that you're adding on at the end here will be smaller. And if your net trade is smaller, that will result, ceteris paribus, if everything else stays the same, that will result in a decrease in aggregate demand, a decrease in output. So that's another reason why you might go into a downturn in your economic cycle. The third and final one we're going to look at here is having a supply side shock. Why might a supply side shock cause you to have a downturn in the economic cycle? A supply side shock is something that causes essentially your productive potential to go down. It causes the long run aggregate supply curve to shift to the left, so long run aggregate supply goes down. And the reasons that you might have a supply side shock, it might be something like the oil price goes up significantly, or it might be that wage rates go up significantly. If the oil price goes up, that means that firms can't produce as much as they could before, ceteris paribus. So this would mean that you'll have a decrease in your output. If wage rates go up, firms can't afford to employ as many people, and they're not able to produce as much. Again, you have a decrease in output. If you're going to look at an ASAD diagram, if you have the price level here and real output here, if that's your long run aggregate supply, that's your aggregate demand. If, for example, you have an increase in the oil price or an increase in wage rates and long run aggregate supply decreases to here, LRAS1, you can see that as well as the price level going up, inflation, we've also got a fall in our real output from Y to Y1. There was also, that's not what this is about, but there's actually cost push inflation as well. a bad situation. That's stagflation, because you have an increase in the price level and you've got more unemployment. But that's for another video. But you can see that your real output has fallen because of the supply side shock. And this is all about why you might have a downturn in your economic cycle. So why might your real output fall?